Rawls, touchdown Seattle.
That pass is deflected and intercepted. Justin Houston, and he's in for the pick six.
Romo coming near side for Williams. He's got it. He's involved now. Touchdown.
And now, Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Move the Sticks. DJ, Bucky here. And Buck, the weather's starting to get a little bit cooler in most of the country. Maybe not here in Southern California, but everywhere else getting a little bit cooler. We're seeing the physicality in the National Football League kind of tick up a little bit. Some fun games this weekend.
Yeah, had a lot of good games. We talked over on the other side of NFL now about the young guys, the backups having to step up. And what we're seeing down the stretch, all 53 guys matter. The backups have to be able to play key roles when they're called upon. And we saw a lot of backups step up and perform very, very well in key roles.
Yeah, challenging the depth of some of these teams. We've seen that take place here in the NFL. Either you have a good 53-man roster, you have a good 22 starters. You need 53 to be able to get through a season with some of those injuries. And if you're checking us out right now, either checking us out on YouTube, which we got everything rolling on our NFL channel. You can check us out there. You can check out our videos as well on NFL.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, you can check out on iTunes, Stitcher, as well as NFL.com podcast. We appreciate all the feedback you guys have been giving us here on Move the Sticks. And we got a busy show today, Buck, and I figured we kind of just jump into it, but let's give TD a chance to tell everybody what we have coming up.
What's going on, guys? On today's show, we're going to look at the return of Tony Romo, and then we're going to jump right into the future of the Broncos with Brock Osweiler getting his first start. Jameis Winston's 5-game performance, touchdown performance, and then lastly, Coach Billick is going to join us, look at some of his tweets.
Yeah, Coach Billick, Bucky, not going to be with us in video today, just audio. And the reason why, I'm gonna hold off on that. You're gonna want to stay with us and find out why Coach is unavailable via video today. But let's start jumping into some of these quarterbacks. Buck, Tony Romo coming back.
Tony Romo is the leader of the Cowboys. One of the reasons I was hopeful that they could still make a run, or I was optimistic they could make a run in the NFC East, is because he's the best quarterback in the division. And if he's available, that offense becomes dynamic, explosive. It really masks some of the issues that they have on the defensive end because the offense is on the field. They just need him back on the field so they can get back to playing the way they played last year, which is run the ball, be physical, and then play great defense. Yeah. He did that.
Early on in that game, you had the weather, right? You know, that Miami weather. It looked like a hurricane out there. They had all the wind and the rain. And with that weather, you saw him being kind of a little bit more cautious, missed some throws, a little bit rusty. Then the weather got a little bit better. You saw Tony Romo get more comfortable. And when I break down Tony Romo, Buck, I know he's tough, right? Everybody knows how tough he is to come back from this injury, but it's the other three T's that jumped out to me when you study this tape. And I'll start, first of all, with his timing. This is somebody that operates in rhythm. He's a rhythm passer, a timing passer. You see right here him hit his back foot, get the ball out quick before the receiver gets to the top of his route. Des Bryant, he's very comfortable. The timing was on point. Then, look on a little later in the game, hits Des Bryant on the touchdown, and that's his touch. And that's what separates Tony Romo from a lot of quarterbacks, being able to get the ball out to space with touch, change ball speed, change elevation. He did it well in this game. And then finally, you got to be able to trust your guys down the field. Terrence Williams, we saw him go up and make a big catch for a touchdown. Tony Romo has that trust in his guys to take some shots. Nothing ventured, nothing gained in the NFL. You have to be aggressive.
I'm going to take another T. I'm going to say togetherness, which really brings me about chemistry.
Yep.
The chemistry between Tony Romo and his receivers was apparent in that game. As a receiver, you want to have that best quarterback, that top quarterback in, because you know if I win, the ball is going to come to me and it's going to be on time. What I saw in that game when Des Bryant and Jason Witten and Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams, when they won against their respective matchup, the ball was there on time. And so for the offense to have any sort of rhythm, your quarterback has to be able to deliver the ball on time like that. And because he's now under center, we also saw the running game get on track. Because now you can no longer load the box just to take away Darren McFadden. You have to respect the passing game and really have to respect Jason Witten and Des Bryant. Because of that, we saw Darren McFadden have a very productive game. I think the Cowboys can get on a roll and get hot down the stretch because Tony Romo is back.
A couple of things before we leave the Cowboys here. Number one, Darren McFadden in pass protection was outstanding. I don't think he gets enough credit in that area. He was excellent. And then one cause for concern, Tyron Smith does not look like the same guy we saw over the last couple of years. Olivier Vernon, Buck, inside spin, outside spin, inside counter. He turned him every which way but loose.
One of the kind of things that flew under the radar, Bill Callahan leaving to go into the Washington Redskins. A lot of people talked about the Cowboys' offensive line being the best offensive line in football, and they are. But Callahan coached and developed those guys. When you lose that leader, you lose that leadership, the tutelage that he was bringing upon them, it changed. I think it affected their running game, and I think it's also hurt them in pass protection. They missed Bill Callahan and what he was able to put together with those young guys up front.
I said last week as we move on to the Seattle Seahawks, the Seahawks need to win this football game to stay alive. Well, maybe that was a little bit hyperbole. They needed to get some wins racked up as we come down the second half of the season, and they did get a big one this last week behind a couple young guys.
No, the young guys. You talk about Tyler Lockett and Thomas Rawls, two young players that are stepping into big roles on offense and giving them the energy that they needed. And looking at Tyler Lockett specifically, they've needed a dynamic playmaker on the outside. Doug Baldwin, Chop Curse, those guys have been good. Undrafted free agents, they've given them key contributions. Doug Baldwin is a terrific slot receiver. But they needed some juice. They needed someone who could take the top off the defense, someone who could win against one-on-one coverage and add that vertical dimension to the passing game. Tyler Lockett has done that. At K-State, I thought he was a terrific route runner. I thought he understood how to get open, was sneaky with his savvy and the way he set people up, and we knew about the return skills. His ability to make plays as a catch-and-run artist adds an element to that offense, one that they can exploit, and I think they will exploit down the stretch.
To me, the 2 touchdowns specifically, something we've talked about on here before, verticals from the slot. You get down in that red area. That is the money play right now in the NFL. You've got all that room to work, a lot of room for that ball to go, get on top, put your speed in the slot and go get it. And then number 2, the strength and the power he had to be able to carry defenders in on that second one. Underrated in Lockett's game, just how strong he is.
Yeah, strong. Look, he's a returner. He was a big-time returner at K-State, a guy that really specialized in putting punts and kickoffs in the paint, scoring touchdowns on that. So when you take him and you put him in offense, you're getting a guy that is terrific in space, understands how to maneuver in traffic. They can take advantage of that. I think they need to do more of that to really complement their run game.
We got Beast Mode 2.0 here with Rawls?
Oh, I think Rawls is the real deal. I think he's the real deal. The fact that he has 300-yard games already this season. Every time he's had opportunities, ample opportunities to touch the ball, he's delivered. You're talking about a guy that comes out of Central Michigan after starting out at the University of Michigan. He is physical, runs well between the tackles, but also has the element to catch the ball out of the backfield. His vision, balance, body control is not quite on par with Marshawn Lynch, but it allows you to run the same offense. And in fact, they've been more productive when he's been at the dot back running the ball.
How about the way he just lowers his head at the end of every single run and puts it in the chest of defenders? A lot of times you talk about lowering your shoulder. He's like old school Earl Campbell. He throws his head in there.
I mean, I don't advise it for young kids, but he is a physical running back. He has a little more juice than Marshawn. I think this is a great find for the Seattle Seahawks because you still need Marshawn Lynch down the stretch. You still need beast mode to kind of help you get to where you want to get to in the postseason. But this guy can take some of the pressure, some of the burden off of Marshawn Lynch having to carry that offense. He can be that supplement. So now you have a 1-2 punch in the backfield running the ball, and you also have a young guy, Tyler Lockett. I like where the Seahawks are headed.
One scouting note on him before we move on. I know TD's chomping at the bit to get some Russell Wilson talk. We've talked about the Seahawks for a couple minutes now. We haven't touched on Russell Wilson. TD's scratching the glass back there trying to jump in on this conversation. But Rawls ran 4.65 verified when he came out. 40 time for backs. Don't get carried away with it. I think Arian Foster might have ran high 4.6, low 4.7. We've seen a lot of really good runners in this league with 40 times in that mid 4.6 range.
Yeah, and in fact, I prefer a running back that is not necessarily the fastest. I want a guy that's patient and he understands how to win in that 20-yard box. Because more times than not in the National Football League, you really don't see a lot of breakaway runs, but does he have the pitter-pat, the balance and body control to make it happen in those tight quarters? Because it's about gaining first downs that eventually lead to touchdowns. Thomas Rawls can do that. He was undrafted, but I think what we're seeing is a guy that is a perfect fit for what they want to do in that zone running scheme.
TD, I don't think you played baseball growing up, but I would imagine if
Played some cricket.
You played cricket?
Yeah.
Do they have an on-deck circle for cricket? Like if you're the next guy up?
That was a long time ago. I don't recall.
You don't know if they do? Maybe somebody that's listening can shoot us a note.
Zach Goldman, the gold standard, he's a big cricket fan, as is Handsome Hank on the Dave Dameshek.
Okay, we'll see if one of those guys can help us out. I don't know if they have an on-deck circle because I imagine TD like in the on-deck circle, and then when it's his turn to cut, like he runs from the on-deck circle.
He runs in.
And then, yeah, that's.
I wonder if TD would have a little walkout music. I know you're not a big baseball fan, but as a baseball player, you got to have a little walkout, a little something to kind of let people know what you're about.
No question. I don't have one right now. I can give a top 5 though next show. Walkout music.
He likes to rank it and bank
it.
He
likes rank it and bank it.
Give us your Russell Wilson.
Real quick, just to
question
recap on Rawls. So we've heard that Rawls is the real deal. He's also like Earl Campbell. and has more juice than Marshawn. That's what we just learned about Thomas Rawls, right?
Current Marshawn, young Marshawn had more top speed.
Young
than Rawls.
Marshawn had a little more, but right now in this current moment, he has a little more juice, a little more pop and burst than Marshawn. Yes.
All right, what do you got, TD?
Speaking of juice, Russell Wilson, a lot of reports coming out right now, sort of questioning the man's dedication and his preparation to the game, how he's approached the season. Obviously, we all know what he's into off the field. Have you guys been seeing anything different from Russell this year, or is it just like, hey, expectations are much higher, his offensive line is not as good? What do you guys think?
TD, I'm going to go back to Puffy and that crew. I'm going to go back. More money, more problems. So as soon as you get paid, the expectation changes. And so for Russell Wilson, he got paid in the offseason. So people want to see him play like a $20 million quarterback. The problem is this team isn't constructed to play as a pass-first team. They want to run the ball, allow him to be a complementary player. And so I don't see anything necessarily wrong with his game. I see a team that doesn't have an offensive line that necessarily supports him and allows him to be kind of like a premier passer. But I do see a winning quarterback, a guy that can get it done, a guy that presents problems with his legs and with his arm. And as long as they're able to keep the game close, meaning the defense is playing well, he still can do the things that he's done previously. And I expect him to get back to that as they make this playoff run.
I still see the same guy I've always seen, so I don't really get the drop-off. I think you guys hit on it, the fact that expectations change with the money. But I see a guy, even number-wise, completion percentage is up. I know his interception maybe is up a little bit, his interception total, but stats-wise, maybe just not being quite as aggressive as a runner. Part of that comes with being paid. Hey, we need you healthy. We can't have you being as aggressive as a runner. Maybe like seeing him be a little bit more aggressive in that area. But I think I'm seeing the same Russell Wilson I've always seen. The one thing about the off-the-field stuff, we've heard this forever. We heard it about. Remember with Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning's in too many commercials.
Yes.
He's not focused. He's got his attention on everything else. Life after football. This is not new to hear a quarterback be criticized for some of his off-field pursuits.
Quarterbacks are the stars of the team. Quarterbacks are the face of the National Football League, so they get all the opportunities off the field. You can't expect those guys to always be football only, and they don't kind of delve into other ventures. I think the big thing when you're looking at their endeavors, does it take away from their time at the facility? Does it take away from the time that they're supposed to devote to preparing? I don't think Russell Wilson is a guy that you have to worry about that. I would worry about it if I felt like his game had really depreciated or declined significantly. I don't think so. I think he's still a winning quarterback. I think he's still the same guy.
Post pictures, I'm not a huge fan of the post.
But I mean, that's who he
pictures,
is.
But
I mean, that's who he is. And he dates a quasi-celebrity in Sierra, so there's going to be a little more attention to it. He's going to be embossing Us Weekly because he goes out with somebody who's notable.
I'm not a fan of the post pictures, but I think it has anything to do with how he plays the position or affects him in any way, shape, or form.
I'm with you on that, though, DJ. Too many Sierra photos.
The pose, natural. Like,
That's
hey,
his girl.
somebody takes a picture of you and it's in
That's
People
his
magazine.
girl,
That's one
TD.
thing.
No, but even with that,
Posed.
one of his very first pictures of Sierra was a Googled photo of Sierra. If that's your girlfriend, why are you Googling photos of her?
Maybe because she only sends him risque photos that he can't share with the public.
Well, I mean,
Maybe he's trying to keep it family
I
friendly.
mean, that's what fans do when we want to see Sierra. We Google Sierra. Okay.
By the way, I like to keep Will and TD on their toes. By the way, because I know they want to talk Broncos before we talk Seahawks. But I just like to keep them on their toes.
That's okay.
Make sure you guys.
They can adjust.
Hey, Will can handle it.
Will's good for it. All right, let's move on though to that new quarterback, Brock Osweiler. I had a chance to watch that game, and man, it looked like the Gary Kubiak offense we saw in Houston. Something we kind of predicted. Buck.
I mean, since we're talking about music and whatever, like I kind of call Brock Osweiler upgrade. He's an upgrade over what they had at the position in Peyton Manning because he allows Gary Kubiak to run his system. We wanted to see the bootleg movement passing game because that is really the recipe for Gary Kubiak's success as a play caller, and we got a chance to see that. I saw a quarterback who was athletic enough to come out the back door on bootlegs, a guy who was very accurate throwing the ball between the numbers, and a guy, because of his athleticism, he was able to control the backside defensive end. I don't think it's a coincidence that the running game was ignited and started with C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman because you have to worry about Osweiler coming out. It's the same thing that we talked about. We made the comparison to Matt Schaub, and people may not like that comparison, but Matt Schaub was a two-time Pro Bowler in that offensive system. I think this is a guy that can be the similar type player that can be a winning quarterback and have a lot of success because he's a nice fit for what Kubiak wants to do.
I thought he looked really comfortable under center. They were under center a good bit in this. I thought that gave some more rhythm to their run game. You talked about the boots. I counted 4 times when I was watching pretty early in this game where they got him and moved the pocket. Their offensive line stinks. And some of that people thought, oh, you're making excuses for Peyton Manning. No, they are legitimately bad up front. But when you can move the launch point, when you can run the football, it takes some of the pressure off those guys up front. And they still got exposed. Evan Mathis got completely dumped on his backside. One time he gave 1 sack. There's 5 sacks. One of them was a give-up sack where he wanted to keep the clock rolling at the end of the game. But protected the football. No turnovers. I thought he was very comfortable working in the middle of the field in this game. Some of that the Bears busted some coverages. But when you see young quarterbacks play, a lot of times they want to play outside the numbers, Buck, because the vision's clean. It gets really muddy and dirty inside, and sometimes it takes a while to get guys the courage to be able to function and work in the middle of the field. He was very comfortable in that area.
You know, the anticipation, being able to throw in those tight windows, that's what takes a lot of young quarterbacks some time to get used to. But in looking at Osweiler, and before this game, I studied him not only doing his regular season performance, but I studied him in the preseason. And I saw him execute all of those things that were staples in Gary Kubiak's offense. And so the big thing that came out of this game was the change in personnel that was around him. I saw 2 and 3 tight ends. I saw them getting those run-heavy sets. And with those run-heavy sets come the opportunity to create mismatches. Do you want to play nickel against that? Do you want to play base? When you have a Vernon Davis and an Owen Davis
Vernon Davis
and a
Virgil
Green,
really good game.
You have the opportunity to create big play opportunities and big chances in the run game off the boot action. And so I like what they're doing. I think it opens up the playbook a little bit. It makes them a little more diverse and dynamic. We didn't see it fully on the scoreboard, but as he continues to add layers to the offense with this guy in the center, they become a more explosive offense.
Latimer getting in the end zone.
How about that? Putting it up.
IU Hoosier. By the way, Indiana Hoosiers undefeated in basketball this year. Can't say the same about the Tar Heels, Buck.
It's early.
But, Northern Iowa's got a good squad.
Really, the only thing that matters in basketball is a 9-game run. The ACC tournament, 3 games, and then 6 games in the NCAA. No one cares about the regular season.
TD doesn't watch college basketball.
No, he doesn't like basketball in college.
Oh, and I keep up with the prospects.
The prospects. See, even you saying the prospects, there's something wrong with that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I keep up with the prospects. Who's going to make it to the next level? Who's going to play?
Yeah.
When TD gets insulted, you can hear the inflection gets raised a little bit.
Ben Simmons, man.
There's a little bass in your voice when you get insulted, TD.
Hey, I'm just watching Ben Simmons, man.
Oh,
high school.
that dude's nasty,
He's
man.
good.
All right, we can do some scout school now, TD?
Yep, time for scout school.
Rip off some questions from the folks. What we got?
First up, very first question. First, we got to show a fancy graphic. We got a scout school
fancy.
graphic.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, it's going in the monitor behind you guys.
Uh-oh.
So wait, there we go.
Uh-oh.
Scout school. Yeah, hey, another reason to check out the show for fancy artwork. We did
Wow, very nice.
Look at that.
I'm surprised no hashtag, though. No hashtags?
No hashtag, but I mean, we do the hashtag on Twitter. Hashtag Scout School again if you want to send in your questions for DJ and Bucky to tackle. Our very first question is like the bonus question, but we're going to do it first.
Okay.
The main man, Dave Dameshek, doing his show, he had a question for you guys, and let's go ahead and roll that.
To you two people on Move the Sticks, I want you to evaluate a little past the halfway point in their rookie seasons. Who's winning, famous Jameis or Marcus Mariota?
Look at handsome Hank.
I know.
Grinning.
How about that?
Pretty excited about that question.
He is excited about that. I mean, that's a real tough question because I think it really depends on what are you grading them on.
Yep.
They went 1-2 in the draft, so obviously you felt like both guys were blue chip guys coming into the league, but they're asked to do different things and they're playing in different offenses. So
question.
I'll take the Marcus Mariota part of it. And the reason I'll take Marcus Mariota in this evaluation is because I think he plays in a simple Simon offense. And that's no disrespect to what he's been asked to do. But I think he came out of system in Oregon. A lot of movement, a lot of read option stuff, a lot of kind of simple reads. And to the Titans' credit, they put him in an offense that is designed much like that. You see the ball come out very quickly. There you see an underneath route where you can get it out of his hands. He can hit the top of his drop. He's asked to just get to the top, get the ball out. Some of the stuff that he does, cut down half the field, throwbacks, simple things for him to execute, and he's athletic enough to get it done. So I think he's been solid. I would give him probably a B+ for what he's done. I mean, he's just a solid quarterback. He should be able to do that with the offense built around him.
Yeah, I think he's exceeded my expectations for where he is already in his career. He's been efficient. Look, he's taken a lot of sacks. I know a lot of heat has come on his offensive line. They're not great up front. They should be better than they individually. They're more talented than they are as a group. But sometimes holding the ball a little bit too long. He's been very careful with the football, which is good. You want to have a healthy respect for protecting the football, but you got to take some chances. In the game the other night against Jacksonville, I was like, hey, you got to at least try and push the ball down the field. So they push the ball down the field. They get a couple penalties, which people think are suspect. But look, that's one of the potential outcomes when you take shots down the field. I want him to be a little bit more aggressive in that area.
You like Top Gun, right? You've seen Top Gun.
Oh, I love Top Gun.
You know who Marcus Mariota is? He's ice.
He's Iceman?
He's ice. Everything, in Top Gun, everything has to be right. He's like, not yet, not yet, not yet. I'm going to wait for the perfect shot. That's Marcus Mariota. Mariota wants the perfect shot before he pushes the ball down the field, and that's fine because you don't want turnovers from your young quarterback. As he gets older, he needs to be able to push the envelope a little bit, make sure he takes those shots when they're available. But I understand, he's completing 65% of his passes. He has a 96.1 passer rating, a 13-6 touchdown to interception ratio. So you're fine with those numbers. But for them to go from maybe an average offense to a good offense, he has to push the ball down the field. They need more explosive plays.
So if he's Iceman, then that makes Jameis Maverick.
Absolutely, he's Maverick. Yeah. That's the perfect thing. He's Maverick.
That's right, Ice. Man, I am dangerous. No, that is Jameis. And look, Jameis, the way he's played. Let's start first of all with just what he did against the Philadelphia Eagles, the way he carved them up. The 5 touchdown passes that he threw, Buck. When I went back through and kind of broke those down. These are a variety of throws, and these are high difficulty throws that take pinpoint ball placement, changing velocity, changing arc. I mean, he made everything you wanted to see in these 5 touchdown passes against the Eagles.
You know, starting at the top, this back shoulder fade puts it up there, understands the height advantage that his guy has over most defensive backs, does it. And then that anticipation on this slant route, once again, big body receiver, Vincent Jackson digs in there before the safety. You have to like those throws.
Yeah, look, then you see another one over the top here. Get a little fake little tunnel screen right here. That was kind of a trick 'em scheme play. I believe that's Russell Shepard he hit.
How about that?
In the back of the end zone. LSU backups, man, or LSU average players end up being better pros than they are in college. This one was a risky one, getting this ball up in the air to your back out of the backfield that can catch it, Charles Sims, but worked out well.
It did work out well. And then this final one, once again, understanding the ball placement.
He's not open.
He throws it away from the defender, back shoulder throw. It's one of those things that you ask your quarterbacks to be able to do, like high-level quarterbacks. They can do throw guys open. He threw that guy open on that touchdown. Jameis Winston has come along. He's really progressed. And the numbers still, 58.3% of his passes completed, 15-9 touchdown to interception ratio. The big stat for me, 4 rushing touchdowns, only 1 fumble, doing a better job of taking care of the ball. Because of that, the Buccaneers are playing better football.
Also taking fewer sacks. He only got taken 17 sacks, and Marcus has taken 24. I think he's been far ahead of where we expected him to be, especially inheriting a team with some question marks up front. I thought that offensive line, playing some young guys, has gotten better. But in terms of him being the leader of this football team, I mean, this is something, when we go back, we did, I worked on the Jameis Winston 360 podcast, did one on Marcus Mariota, did one on Jameis Winston, where we went through and dug through their background, talked to everybody that was around these guys to try and find out what made them tick. And the leadership aspect of Jameis Winston that we've seen kind of emerge at the NFL level was very evident when I got a chance to talk to Cam Irving last spring about Jameis Winston as a leader.
You remember anything he might have said to you guys during that comeback or maybe during that final drive that leads you guys to a championship?
Man, that was the most calm us as an offense that played that whole season. I remember it like it was yesterday. The only thing that he said to us on the sideline is, if you're going to do it then, we do it big then. And, I mean, everybody knows this phrase. It's just something about it. It makes the whole offense feel more calm as a whole because he has that control over the huddle.
That's Cam Irving talking about that game we were at, the national championship game against Auburn, sitting together watching them drive right down the field. But then the leadership, now we're starting to see, because of some of the cool behind-the-scenes video and audio we get, we're starting to see Jameis Winston take over leadership of this football team. This is the clip of him before this week against Philadelphia Eagles after their big win last week.
That's how you overcome adversity. I told you. The team that wanted the most was going to pull that game off. Defense, you kick that. You kick that. Offense, we kept fighting, baby. We kept fighting. If we keep doing that, if we give all we got, if we have each other back, we're going to go 7-0 on these. Let's go. Let's go.
There you go, Buck. And that was after the win over the Dallas Cowboys. He talked about them going 7-0. He believes it. And, man, they went out and dominated the Philadelphia Eagles football team. I believe they have the Indianapolis Colts coming up next. But, man, they're on the right page now with their quarterback and this young football team.
They are on the right track. It was one of the things that you had to put in your notes. He's a charismatic leader, dynamic personality, a guy that kind of commands the attention of the room when he steps in. And so now we're beginning to see that leadership also match the talent that he brings to the table. And all teams are looking for that franchise quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have their guy. I'm not saying that Marcus Mariota is not one for Tennessee. They just do it in different styles. I just believe that right now, Winston is doing more for his team than Marcus Mariota is asked to do for his team.
Yeah, but right now, I think if we had a move the stick stamp, I think we would both put our stamp of approval on these two young quarterbacks.
Absolutely. Both guys are good. Both guys have the potential to lead their team into the playoffs and beyond. Jameis Winston is just doing it in a little different fashion.
That could be a holiday present for us, by the way, a move the stick stamp. Anybody out there makes stamps? We'll gladly take our move the stick stamp as a free present there. TD, what we got? Scout School questions.
Let's go to some other students in Scout School. This is from Statistical App. He wants to know, when someone like Antonio Brown goes so low in the draft, what do scouts do to avoid that happening again? # Scout School.
Well, Bucky, I'll let you get into this, but every time you have a player like that, from the MAC who's been very successful, what happens is the next player from the MAC with similar dimensions or similar numbers, everybody in that building is going to do double work to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, part of the reason Antonio Brown was pushed down on the charts, there were some questions about maybe some of his behavior and character coming out of school. Talented player, a guy that could run all the routes, was a terrific return specialist. So you understood that he had the opportunity to be a really good player in the league. Now, no one thought that he would be an elite receiver as quickly as become one for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the draft status has more to do with some of the off-the-field stuff than the on-field stuff. But yeah, the next guy that comes through the MAC, the next talented receiver that stands about 5'10", 195 and runs similar times, he's going to benefit from the comparison to Antonio Brown. So it does affect you, and we do always go back and regrade the guys that we may have quote-unquote missed on. So it does kind of push up the next guy. You try and learn from those mistakes when it comes to draft day.
One thing I'll say about him, look, his physical abilities, when you watch him do flips into the end zone, everybody knows how athletic and how talented he is. The guy loves football, and he works hard at it. It's the difference between being kind of somebody that's a carpenter and somebody that's a craftsman. He is definitely a craftsman. He takes time. He works at his craft. He's in love with the game. When I go back and self-evaluate guys I've missed on, a lot of times that's what was missing. They have the ability, but they don't love it enough to put in the work you need to play at an elite level like he has.
Yeah, do you love it or do you like it? That's the question that you ask players when they're coming out. And most of them say, yeah, I love it. But do you really love it? Are you going to be the first one in the building, the last one out? Are you going to spend time in the offseason really dedicated to your craft? Or are you going to be on the party circuit? When I look at Antonio Brown, we've seen the videos when he's working out with Andre Johnson and Ocho Cinco and some of the other guys, Santana Moss, where he puts in work and you can see the footwork and how he's become a better route runner during his time in the league. He's a guy that loves the game. And so I'm always looking for those love it guys because those are the guys that make it and make it in a big way in the league.
Yeah, people ask you in life, what are your priorities in life? They usually say, if you give me your checkbook, I can tell you what your priorities are because I can see where you're spending your money. With football players, a lot of times, where your time is. Are you training? Are you watching tape? Are you putting in extra work? And I think there's no question Antonio Brown has done that, TD.
Great stuff. And Will just gave us a segment idea. Like it, love it, or gotta have it. Sponsored by Cold Stone.
Cold Stone? Yeah, the different flavors?
The different flavors, yeah.
Nice,
gotta have it flavor. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, next tweet. This comes from Bill Amandi. He wants to know, conventionally, how long does it take for wide receiver to learn route concepts? What stops Cordero Patterson? Is it just putting in the time in? # Scout School.
Go ahead, Buck.
Cordero Patterson is an interesting guy because he was a JC transfer. He only spent literally a semester at Tennessee playing major college football before he entered the draft. Super talented, a guy that scored a bunch of touchdowns in a variety of ways at Tennessee. But I don't think he ever took the time to really develop into a route runner as a classic wide receiver. So his development has had to come in the National Football League, and for whatever reason, it hasn't clicked. He went to the Pro Bowl, I want to say his rookie year as a returner, but he just hasn't developed kind of the skill refinement that you need to be a classic receiver. Now, the Vikings could help them by putting him in a situation where he goes onto the field and has a package of routes that he's asked to run, whether it's the comeback, the post, the go. There are things that you can do to take advantage of his talents, and they've tried that. But he has to meet them halfway and learn the playbook, learn what he's expected to do in the offense on every play. That way to buy him more time. And once the ball starts heading in his direction and he makes plays, that buys him more time. But he has to earn his opportunity. And the Vikings are one of those teams that, regardless of your round status, you got to earn your playing time. He hasn't earned it to this point.
Well, he's ultra explosive, and one of the areas he struggles is being able, we talk in scouting about the ability to drop your weight. It means be able to get low, to get in and out of your breaks efficiently. He is so upright. He's struggled with that mightily, be able to chop his steps, get in and out. He's a little bit stiff. And some of those things, we say, he needs to work harder as a route runner. Some guys, either you can or you can't in terms of that ability to drop and sink your weight.
And then it becomes, what role do you want him to play? Cordero Patterson may eventually end up being a guy like Ted Ginn Jr. And we can say whatever we want to about Ted Ginn. He was the 7th pick. He was a guy that, by the Miami Dolphins standards, he underperformed. But he's kind of carved out a nice career for himself and is beginning to play more as a wide receiver in Carolina. But the reason he's playing better in Carolina, they're asking him to run the comeback, the go, in the post.
Yep.
And it's okay to be that guy. Cordero Patterson can be a contributing member of that team if they ask him to really follow a specific role, which is the vertical playmaker. They have that guy already in place, and Mike Wallace. Maybe there's a way to get Patterson on the field and do some of those same things.
Yeah, some wide receivers, and I go back and look through my draft notes, I always talk about how these guys are better on runaway routes. So slants, post, goes, anything that would keep them on the move.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't do stop-start things. A lot of times they're bigger receivers. They don't excel at doing those stop-start routes, and sometimes fast guys. Fast guys can't stop. Part of my problem in playing the pros, I couldn't stop. Run fast in a straight line, can't stop. Hard to find a way to get you on the field. You have to kind of make it role specific for those kind of athletes.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how his future holds. Kind of tied together with Tavon Austin. Early on, looked like Cordero Patterson was the better pick. Now we're seeing Tavon Austin kind of emerge. Those two careers, they'll be grouped together as we go forward. What else you got, TD?
I never had that issue in the pros, Bucky.
Never?
Fast, yeah, never.
Yeah, Bucky's biggest issue in life is too fast. You know?
Too fast, can't stop.
Yeah, that's not it. Coach Billick has a bigger issue. We'll get to that. Go ahead.
All right, this one comes from Cal L. Cal with a 3 rather than an E, and he wants to know, please ask how the international expansion of the game could impact the scouting of new talents overseas. # Scout School.
Well, baseball organizations have big international scouting departments where they're set up in the Dominican Republic and all over the place. I think the NFL, it's going to continue to grow as the game gets more popular overseas. And I think, Jared Hayne, that could be, he's such a big name in that sport. That could kind of spawn more people to get into football. And we talk about Australia, New Zealand, different areas of the country. I think you'll see NFL teams be a little more aggressive in scouting in that region.
I think they can be aggressive. I think they can be aggressive in a couple of different ways, not only in terms of internationally looking beyond the borders for players, but looking at other sports. And maybe they have an international background. Ziggy Ansah was a guy that came over to BYU as a track athlete and then kind of made his way to the football team. If you think about the number of tight ends that we've plucked from the basketball scene, maybe some of those international athletes that are playing basketball, the 6'5", the 6'7" guys that aren't quite NBA players, maybe they're guys that we peg as tight ends and see if we can develop them. There's a way to always expand the game. People are always looking for talents. I think internationally is a way where you definitely can see a new set of athletes kind of make their impact on the National Football League.
All right, is that it for us today for Scout School, TD?
That is it. But fun fact, while you guys were discussing that point, we were rolling footage of Jared Hayne.
Yeah.
You could see him, Colin Kaepernick throwing him the ball, and it was like start of the NFL season. Those two were top of the news cycle, and Will said we should almost do like a "Where Are They Now" type segment.
Yeah, not so well
rough
for either one of them right now.
That's pretty rough, yeah.
All right, well, it's one of our favorite times of the week, Buck. We get to welcome in our coach, Brian Billick. All right, TD, we got Coach on the line, Coach Billick on the line. No, he's not going to be video, but we got him on the phone.
Led you guys astray, guys. We mentioned that the top coach was busy, and apparently he's too busy to join the show today.
Come on. All right, well, can we divulge the reason why?
We can reveal why Coach is busy today.
Okay, so he was just going to be on audio. We weren't going to have him on video.
We get him on a phoner, that's all.
Just a phoner. TD told me why that was, and I love the reason. I'm completely jealous of why he couldn't join us on video. Now he can't join us at all, TD. What's Coach up to today?
Coach can't join the show today because he's selling his yacht.
Oh,
that's a
selling the yacht.
True reason.
Is this a good time of year to sell a yacht? Like, real estate, you think in the spring? What do you think?
Wow.
Maybe somebody for a birthday, like a Christmas
episode of Ballers. Like I'm so not used to thinking about yachts and.
Wow, no, look, hey, Coach has always been into boating though. Like he was big into boating when I was there with the Baltimore Ravens. He's got a place right there on the water. Wow. But I didn't know he was rolling with the yacht strong.
Wow,
man.
That's impressive commitment.
We got a good relationship with Coach. We got to get a little spin on this. Well, now that he's selling it, is he upgrading? Is he out of the yacht business?
That's why I wanted him on. Usually we do
so
tweets and all that stuff. I want to coach on to talk about yacht stuff. Oh, yeah. Okay, just live in his world for a second, and maybe next week.
What do they call the left side of a ship, TD?
I remember watching a Friends episode where Joey was teaching Rachel or vice versa about this, and I don't remember any of the specifics. I just remember that episode.
Is it Starboard? I'm confused. I was hoping you actually knew that. I thought you'd be kind of a well-rounded
Yeah,
individual.
that would be fun. I just remember that episode where Joey's trying to learn about the yacht, and I feel like Joey right now, and like you're Rachel.
Port is port the one side of him? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, Coach isn't here. His tweets, we can still use his tweets.
We can still
right?
use his tweets. That's right.
Okay,
Coach
cool.
has good content. Bucky, what's his first tweet that he's got here?
Oh, here we go.
Something about DeAndre Hopkins, I believe.
Oh, the DeAndre Hopkins one. Let's see it. Coach Billick says, not sure what I like more, DeAndre Hopkins continually beating Revis or B.O.B.?
Bill O'Brien, they're tight like that. They go
TJ
voting
Yates.
together.
Okay,
They
I
go
didn't know
voting
what B.O.B.
together.
meant. B.O.B. and TJ Yates' willingness to test Revis early and often.
Okay, I'm with you, Coach. I thought they were aggressive. They went after him. And look, Revis underneath, he gets his hands on you. He positions himself, instincts, all that stuff, top notch. But down the field, never an ultra fast guy to begin with. Maybe lost a little bit of a step. And I thought, look, they stretched him out a little bit with Hopkins.
Game plan was outstanding. You have your number one receiver in DeAndre Hopkins, who is emerging as one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in the league, dominating people, and you go to him, you feed the beast, and the beast delivers. Strong performance from a game plan perspective for Bill O'Brien, but an even bigger performance for DeAndre Hopkins. I think this is kind of one of those seminal moments where you're like, woo, this guy is a lot better than what we talked about.
Hats off to TJ Yates not being
Tar Heel.
not being too down in the dumps about the big Tar Heel loss in Northern Iowa in hoops, and was able to kind of just get that.
He had more
out of his
confidence
system.
after seeing his former teammates ascend and do big things to win the ACC Coastal.
Oh, I hear you. All right. Well, when we look at Hopkins, one of the things we love to do here, we have our draft offs, which you can check out those videos on YouTube. We love to rank it and bank it, as TD
rank it and bank it
likes to say. So right now, looking at it right now, your top 5 wide receivers. Who do you want on your team right now, fresh off the press? Who you got?
Right now, fresh off.
I don't know
the
who you've got either.
Right now, do I have a board to support what I'm about to throw up there? We do.
DJ doesn't know. We all know though. DJ doesn't know.
He doesn't know. So I'm gonna go from 1 to 5. Right there, number 1, Antonio Brown. Look, Antonio Brown has done it years and years on end. Look, he leads the league in yards after catch and run specialist. He's my guy. Julio Jones is number 2, number 1 in receptions, averaging 118 receiving yards per game. Nuke Hopkins, you saw him he just absolutely murked Darrelle Revis in that game on Sunday. Number 1 in targets, 9 touchdowns, 62 first downs. Dez Bryant is number 4. I know my man Tony Romo hasn't been there. Dez has been hurt. But number 5, that's the one I know I'm going to send the Twitterverse crazy. Allen Robinson is the 5th best receiver in the league right now, and I got evidence to prove it. 17.4 yards per catch, 7 touchdowns, leads the league in 20 plus yard receptions. This is the dude that everyone's talking about. Allen Robinson, top 5. Rank it and bank it.
We're trying to get back on the good graces with the Jags fans because
I'm a Jag. I'm always there. Be bold. Be bold. Hashtag be bold.
We did our offensive duos, and truth be told, we want to be factual on here. Okay?
Oh, we got hit up.
We had put this list together a little bit earlier than we did last week. It took a while to kind of get all the stuff together.
They were mad about that.
So we omitted the Allen brothers.
Allens.
We didn't have Hearns. We did not have Robinson. I heard about it from one of my buddies with the Jaguars. One of the personnel guys hit me up.
I got hit up a little bit.
I got hit up too.
I got hit up a little bit. And their receiver coach, Jerry Sullivan, is one of my guys.
Yeah.
But
we're not anti-Jags here. We like the Jags, and we should have put.
We could have put their hands up there. They could.
I don't know if they would have been picked.
I still think they might have been the ones kind of dangling on the list, but that's fine. They wanted the bobbleheads on the thing. We could have done a better job. We'll make a list where we can get them.
And for those that don't know what Bucky's talking about, go back and check our YouTube channel. We did a draft with bobbleheads as visuals for drafting. It was fun. Check it out.
All right, so that you put a Jag on there. You're trying to get back in good grace. I get it. I did not have him in my top 5.
He's not in your top 5?
He did not make my top 5 because these are guys I want. I'm not going to get obsessed with numbers, Bucky. I want to line up and play a game tomorrow. This is the order in which I would draft these guys to have them on my football team. And I start the same as you, same top 3, I believe, right? Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins. I think
I got that.
They're playing big-time ball. Now, I know the numbers are solid for Beckham. They aren't on the same pace he was at last year. I still think he's a ridiculous cover. And then Amari Cooper, to me, just in terms of what he can do, he's so dynamic, so explosive. Not quite as physical as your guy Robinson, but I think he gives me more big play capability up the field as well as being able to catch and run and give you some of those things as well. Man. So I'm betting on the come.
Dez Bryant is left at the playground.
Well, you talk
Dez
about
Bryant doesn't get picked at the playground.
I drafted Dez Bryant for my duo
Yeah.
And I want to go back.
You took him high.
I know, but can we roll back the tape where you said he can't even walk, he can't even play anymore? You killed me for taking Dez.
But he's healthy. He scored a touchdown.
And now
it's a week-to-week league.
No,
It's a week-to-week league. Look, Tony Romo's back. It's a package deal. It's kind of like one of those deals where you get the toy, and in the box you got the big old Dez Bryant thing, and then there's a little Tony Romo doll right there. So you get both of them. Like, I didn't have Matt Castle in there. I got Tony Romo back, so now he's in the toy. It's Christmas time almost. Black Friday's coming.
By the way, tell everybody real quick. This is my favorite thing. Bucky's got a great story here. Tell me what your son thinks about Black Friday.
My son thinks Black Friday is a holiday. So I will get a list. To be fair, my son and daughter, I'll get a list for Black Friday. They want.
Not your Christmas presents.
A Black Friday list. So I already got a list that I'm supposed to get a gaming computer for my son, and then my daughter wants a hoverboard.
Oh, nice.
The new hoverboards.
Hoverboard.
Yeah.
I was like, that's like a Christmas
That's
gift.
like Marty McFly. That's a big one.
She was like, well, maybe the
Big
Wii
time.
U or whatever. So, who knows? But Black Friday is a holiday.
Speaking of Bucky's son, Bucky revealed last week that he and his son have not seen The Dark Knight, and I told him, please do that.
No, we haven't seen The Dark Knight. You know what we do?
We'll love you for
We look
that.
at basketball. We're trying to get better. I'm trying to raise a little hooper.
If he
we look
needs,
at
if he needs
basketball.
some game, tell him to come over here.
Young Kobe.
Yeah, Uncle TD.
Young Kobe. He's a Derrick Rose fan.
But please, no, he needs to be watching Steph Curry. But please, watch The Dark Knight with the kid. He'll
All
love
right.
you for it.
All right, what we got here? One more question here.
One more tweet. I don't even know where we're at. Yeah, one more tweet. We got one more tweet
from Coach.
Yeah.
Kind of get this. Let's just go through this one quick. Aaron Donald doesn't get the credit of J.J. Watt or Joe McCoy or Sue, but he might be the most disruptive interior presence in the NFL. And I would say, yes, he is the most disruptive interior presence because J.J. Watt's really playing defensive end now. He's kicked out. They're lining up J.J. Watt over right tackles, and he is abusing the right tackles in this league. Aaron Donald doing his handiwork a little more inside.
I mean, he's everything that we thought about after we saw him in the Senior Bowl and after we watched him his rookie season, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Explosive first step quickness, plays with leverage, has a knack for getting in the backfield. He is a destructive force at the point of attack. And in that system where Greg Williams allows a bunch of guys to go and hunt and chase, he gets it done, consistently wins his one-on-one matchups. He is a handful, plays with a nasty demeanor. He's everything that I want in a defensive tackle.
You talked about your daughter wanting a hoverboard. For her Black Friday gift. If I could kind of go back in time here, Marty McFly style, thinking of the hoverboard, I would go back about 3 or 4 weeks ago when I said on here, you know what, I might buy into the Rams. Maybe this is the year that I should buy into them. I'd like to go back and smack myself from that about
I was so all in. I wrote about it. I was all about the Tavon Austin Ty girl. I even took them as one of my duos.
No, they
are.
The
good thing about Black Friday, you still can take your gifts back.
Keep your receipt.
So you still keep your receipt. You still can take it back. So this is my receipt for the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take that back and see if I can get something else.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. I'm never buying it. 7 wins, 8 wins, that's who they are. That's who they will always be. All right, let's get to our Move the 6 plays of the week here, Buck. I'll lead us off. We got 4 plays, and I'm going to start with the first one. Andre Howe for the Houston Texans. How about this? Sit, read, drive, and make an unbelievable pick to seal the win off of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Watch him drive on this ball, lay out, finish with the interception, seal the game for the Houston Texans. Big win over the New York Jets.
I love that play. They dropped into a 3-buzz coverage. He jumped inside. Look, my guy was fooled. Ryan Fitzpatrick was fooled on the play. Great play by Hale. But later in that game, we had another big play, and I'm going to talk about Nuke Hopkins one-on-one against the best corner in the league. He's on Revis Island, but he had paradise. Here we're going to see him win a deep post. Got a little push-off to create separation. TJ Yates stepping up in the pocket. 60-yard bomb, teardrop over the outstretched arms of Revis. This was his coming out party. He is officially letting every defensive back know that he is the new dude, the new sheriff in town. Top 5 receiver, Nuke Hopkins. Outstanding play. Kind of let everyone know.
I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the ball. I did my first one. DeQuell Jackson, watch this play here against the Atlanta Falcons. Going to hit him play action down here on the goal line. Comes downhill. Then he has to retreat, but keeps his eyes on Matt Ryan. That is textbook. We talking basketball, C-ball, C-man. Does a nice job keeping his eyes on the quarterback. Gets the pick, gets in the end zone. Ties the football game, and might just to save the season for the Indianapolis Colts.
You know, my basketball days, I only played offense, so I didn't do a lot of defense. I like to save myself. My defense was to outscore you. Here, think about scoring. Doug Martin on a little flip pass, flip pitch outside. breaks it outside down the boundary. This is a play we always see in the college game. Taking a look at it, tight formation, faking the fullback dive, flips it out to Doug Martin. Look, this is one he should have had a tub on. He should have taken this to the house. Doesn't quite have this explosiveness to go to the house, but this was a big play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One of the reasons why he had over 200 yards on the ground. That play.
Got a great block from his rookie left tackle there as well. Donovan Smith playing good football.
Playing really good football.
For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, that's our plays of the week for Week 11, Buck. All right, hey, TD, before we get out of here, did you come up with the walkout song? We gave you time now. If you were
I know. I was going to do a top 5 next show.
What do you got?
I got this right here. This is actually more of a basketball introduction song, but how about this? How do you feel about this right here? Oh, yeah. Bucky, you know what time this is.
No, I'm trying to.
You know what time
and
this
now. Is that what that is?
And now.
Oh, that's what you're coming out to?
From North Carolina.
That's what you're coming out to?
Oh, yeah. This is it right here.
You coming out to?
This is it right
Are
here.
you a guy that shakes hands or you're more of an elbow guy?
No, I shake hands.
Bump into everybody?
So when I was younger, I would go through like the furniture in the house and like just shake everything. Just
Oh,
like,
no, I get that.
All right, let's go. Let's get to work.
Highs and lows?
You know what I mean?
So this is your
Get
thing?
in the huddle? Yeah.
What about when you come to midcourt? Do you shake the other guy? Do you just
step without looking?
No,
look them in the eye. It's like,
no eye contact?
No eye contact.
It's like, let's get to work.
Oh, see, I'm from that Pat Riley school. We don't believe in shaking hands.
I like that. What about we had this guy on my high school basketball team used to say, you slap the floor, you lose. So anytime he got kicked out of a game because defender, he slapped the floor, he went, yeah. He caught him with the elbow. He did not like seeing people slap the floor. His name was Jeremy Garrett. I can still see it to this day. We're in a tournament.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
No.
the floor.
I'm not slapping floors. I'm a cherry picker on defense. So I don't
slap floors when
I don't slap floors.
Made a big play on offense. You got to get back in the game. It's like, all right, let's lock down on D.
No, I don't lock down. I'm a cherry picker. Like it. I'm the guy. Like, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. You play me at the park, I'm the woo, because I'm gone. As soon as the guy goes past me, woo, throw it out.
What's the football version of slapping floors? Is there anything you could do?
Ooh.
Football
version.
Maybe hitting helmets. I don't know. Is there something you could do? Yeah.
I think the football version would probably be like when they kind of thump the chest, like we ready, like I got heart, I got like
a little
something
huddle.
like
yeah,
that. I don't,
it's probably be in a huddle. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not out and about like that.
Yeah, you know.
You gotta slap the floor.
Yeah, I didn't know you were such a defensive-minded guy. You're a young coach.
Oh, I'm the guy who's even during pickup, I'm always screaming out, "Who's got ball? Who's got ball? Who's got rebound?" I'm always talking.
See, that's too much
Team
effort.
D.
I got TD. I got striped shorts.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
All right, TD, I'll let you. TD, you say our goodbye today. I'm tapped for the day. You can say goodbye to
All right, guys.
everybody.
Good show. Thanks for joining us. Check us out YouTube, playlist, iTunes, everything, and we're out.